My friends, some of you didn't come this far just to come this far. You started with a fire in your heart, with a dream so clear it kept you awake at night. You saw it, you felt it, you knew it was yours, but somewhere along the way you got distracted. Life started throwing noise at you, negativity from others, shiny distractions, little comforts that seduced you into forgetting the mission. And now you're wondering why you feel stuck. Let me remind you, distractions are dream killers dressed in convenience. They steal your time, rob your focus, and sell you comfort in exchange for your destiny. You've got to remember why you started. Remember that moment when you said, "Enough is enough." Remember the pain that pushed you, the vision that pulled you. Remember the nights you cried because you wanted this so badly. Don't you dare give your distractions more attention than your purpose. Don't you dare let other people's opinions become your reality. You didn't come into this world to be average. You didn't survive everything you've survived just to quit when things get uncomfortable. Yes, it's hard. Yes, you'll feel tired. Yes, you'll have moments when quitting seems easier. But your future self is begging you to keep going. And here's the truth. The moment you decide to cut off the distractions and give your full focus to your dream, the moment you stop making excuses and start making progress, that's when your life will shift. So today, I challenge you, get back to the grind, reignite that fire. Look at your dream like it's oxygen and you can't breathe without it. Because until you do, the distractions will keep winning. And I know that's not the story you came here to write. The dream is still alive. The only question is, are you? Distractions don't always show up wearing warning signs. They're sneaky. They slip in quietly, disguised as something harmless. A quick scroll on your phone, a harmless binge watch, a small break that somehow eats half your day. Before you know it, what was supposed to be a moment of rest becomes a detour that steals hours, days, even years from your life. And the worst part, you don't even notice until the momentum is gone and your dream feels like it's drifting further and further away. Every dream demands a price, and that price is focus. When you trade that focus for distractions, you're essentially taking pieces of your vision and throwing them away. The book you wanted to write, the business you wanted to build, the fitness goal you swore you'd hit, all of them die a slow death, not from lack of talent or ability, but from the constant bleeding of your attention into things that don't matter. Distractions are masters of seduction. They promise you comfort, entertainment, and escape. They whisper, "You've worked hard, you deserve a break." And while rest is essential, distractions are not rest. They're consumption without purpose. They're like eating candy instead of a meal. It feels good for a moment, but leaves you weaker in the long run. The problem isn't one distraction. It's the habit of letting them take over until they replace the very actions that could change your life. And here's the trap. Distractions often come dressed as responsibilities. You tell yourself you're too busy with other tasks to focus on your dream, but deep down, you know that most of what's taking your time is not urgent and not aligned with your purpose. This is how dreams are lost, not because the person wasn't capable, but because they let the noise of the world drown out the voice inside that said, "Go for it." If you want to see how powerful distractions are, just think of all the times you've said, "I'll start tomorrow," or "I'll get to it later." How many of those tomorrows have already passed? How many times has later turned into never? Every time you delay, distractions win. They don't need to defeat you in one big blow. They just need to keep you busy enough that you never give your dream the time it needs to grow. The truth is, distractions don't just waste your time, they steal your future. Every moment you spend on them is a moment you can't get back. While you're scrolling, someone else is building. While you're drifting, someone else is grinding. And one day, you'll meet that version of yourself who could have been everything you dreamed of, but wasn't, because the distractions won. When you first started your journey, there was a spark, a deep, unshakable reason that made you say, I'm going to do this no matter what. That reason was your why. It wasn't about impressing people. It wasn't about chasing trends. It was personal. It was powerful. It was the fuel that made you push forward even when the odds were stacked against you. But over time, life's noise has a way of burying that reason under piles of stress, routine, and doubt. Your why is not just a motivation, it's your anchor. It's what keeps you from drifting when storms hit. Without it, you'll find yourself chasing empty goals, jumping from one distraction to another, never truly satisfied. The days you feel like quitting, the nights when exhaustion whispers, give up. Your why is the only thing strong enough to pull you back to your path. Think back to that defining moment, the breaking point or the moment of clarity that made you start. Maybe it was the pain of your current situation. Maybe it was a vision of a better life for your family. Maybe it was a burning desire to prove to yourself that you could be more than your circumstances. That moment holds the emotional charge you need to keep going, but only if you revisit it regularly. Too many people forget their why because they get lost in the how. They get overwhelmed with strategies, plans, and obstacles, and they stop feeding the emotional drive that made them start in the first place. The problem isn't that the dream got harder. The problem is that the reason they started got dimmer. Your why must stay alive because it's the heartbeat of your ambition. Reconnecting with your why means deliberately taking time to remember and feel it. Write it down, visualize it, speak it out loud. Surround yourself with reminders that point you back to it. When you feel drained, look at the photos, the words, the symbols that represent your mission. Make your why so vivid in your mind that no obstacle can make you forget it. Because the truth is, life will test you. It will push you to your limits and try to convince you that you're not capable. But your why is the proof that you are capable because it's the reason you stepped onto this path in the first place. And when you reconnect with it, you're not just remembering where you started, you're reigniting the fire that will carry you through to the finish line. Convenience is seductive. It tells you to take the easy route, to avoid discomfort, to choose what feels good now instead of what will change your life later. But here's the reality. No great mission was ever accomplished from a place of comfort. The people who achieve their dreams are the ones who decide that their purpose is more important than their desire for things to be easy. They are willing to trade convenience for commitment. When your mission is truly burning inside you, you'll push past the temptation to slow down when things get tough. You won't look for shortcuts that rob you of the lessons you need to grow. You won't settle for good enough when you know great is possible. But if convenience has a stronger hold on you than your mission, you'll find yourself quitting every time the road gets bumpy. And in life, the road will get bumpy. That's a guarantee. Convenience whispers, you've done enough for today. You can relax. You can do it tomorrow. Your mission shouts, do it now. The clock is ticking. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't often comes down to which voice they choose to listen to. Every time you choose mission over convenience, you build a stronger foundation for your dream. Every time you choose convenience over mission, you chip away at that foundation. Your mission has to be so compelling, so deeply rooted in your heart that you're willing to sacrifice comfort for it. That means getting up earlier, staying up later, saying No to things that waste your time, and yes to the hard, unglamorous work that moves you forward. It means pushing through when your body says rest, but your vision says work. It means choosing the long, winding path to your goal instead of the easy road to mediocrity. People often say they want success, but what they really want is success without sacrifice. That's not how it works. Every breakthrough has a price tag, and that price is paid in the currency of discomfort. If you want the results most people will never have, you must be willing to do what most people will never do. And that almost always means stepping far outside the boundaries of convenience. The truth is, convenience is temporary, but the satisfaction of fulfilling your mission lasts a lifetime. When you look back years from now, you won't remember the nights you stayed comfortable. You'll remember the nights you pushed through, the risks you took, the sweat you poured into your dream. And that memory will be worth far more than anything convenience could have offered you. Focus is the most valuable currency you have. It's worth more than money because with focus, you can create money, build skills, and change your entire life. Without it, even the greatest opportunities will slip through your fingers. Yet most people treat their focus like it's disposable, letting anyone and anything steal pieces of it until there's nothing left for their dreams. If your focus is scattered, your results will be scattered. Think of your focus as a treasure chest you're guarding. Every time you give your attention to something that doesn't serve your mission, it's like handing out gold coins to strangers who don't care about your future. You wouldn't open your bank account to random people and let them take what they want. So why do that with your mental energy? Every distraction, every pointless conversation, every mindless scroll is a withdrawal from the account that funds your dreams. Protecting your focus means setting boundaries, firm, unapologetic boundaries. That might mean silencing your phone, saying no to invitations that pull you away from your goals, or creating a work environment that shields you from noise and interruptions. It means recognizing that not everyone will understand your need for focus and being okay with that. Your focus is not up for debate. Here's the truth: the world is designed to steal your attention. Social media platforms are built to keep you scrolling. Notifications are designed to interrupt your thoughts. Even people in your life, without meaning to, can pull you off track with their needs, their drama, or their lack of vision. That's why protecting your focus is not a passive act. It's an intentional, daily decision. When you guard your focus, you're telling yourself and the world, my dream matters. You're making a statement that your time is valuable and you won't waste it on things that don't move you forward. This is not selfishness, it's self-respect. You can't pour your best into your mission if your energy is constantly drained by things that don't align with it. And here's the beauty of it. Once you master protecting your focus, your productivity skyrockets. You stop feeling overwhelmed because you're no longer trying to do 100 things at once. You start seeing progress faster because your energy is concentrated, not scattered. And that progress fuels motivation, which makes protecting your focus even easier. It becomes a cycle, one that turns dreams into reality. The quickest way to lose yourself is to live for other people's approval. Opinions are everywhere. They come from friends, family, coworkers, even strangers on the internet. And if you're not careful, they'll start to mold your decisions until you can't tell if you're living your life or theirs. When you let other people's opinions control you, you surrender the steering wheel of your life and become a passenger in your own journey. The truth is, most people who give you advice aren't even living the life you want. They're speaking from their fears, their limitations, their failures, not your potential. When they say you can't do it, What they often mean is, I couldn't do it. When they tell you to play it safe, it's because they were too scared to take risks themselves. If you accept their reality as your own, you inherit their limitations without ever testing your own strength. You have to decide whose voice matters most, the critics in the cheap seats or your own inner voice that knows you're capable of more. The critics will always be loud, but they're not the ones putting in the work, sacrificing the hours, or carrying the weight of your dream. The only person who has to live with the consequences of your choices is you. That's why your decisions must be based on your vision, not on the fear of judgment. Sometimes the people closest to you will be the ones who doubt you the most. They'll say they're just being realistic, but realism is often another word for playing small. You can't let their version of realistic box you in. Your reality is shaped by what you believe is possible, not by what others believe is safe. The same people who doubt you today may be the ones asking you how you did it tomorrow. The more you allow outside opinions to dictate your moves, the further you drift from your true self. You start hiding your ambitions, watering down your goals, and pretending to be satisfied with less than you're capable of. Over time, this creates a quiet resentment, not toward them, but toward yourself for not having the courage to stand firm in your own path. You must become so rooted in your purpose that no amount of criticism can uproot you. Opinions will always be there, but they should bounce off you like rain on a waterproof coat. Let them talk. Let them doubt. Let them misunderstand. At the end of the day, their opinions won't pay your bills, won't live your life, and won't carry your regrets. That's your responsibility and your freedom. Look back for a moment, not to dwell, but to remember you've been through storms that would have broken some people. You've faced situations where you didn't know how you'd make it through, yet here you are. Every challenge you've overcome is proof that you have a strength most people will never see. To quit now would be to throw away all the battles you've already fought and won. You didn't survive sleepless nights, hard losses, heartbreaks, failures, and disappointments just to stop halfway. Everything you've been through has been shaping you, preparing you, making you stronger for the very thing you're chasing now. The pain wasn't pointless. The struggle wasn't wasted. Those scars you carry, they're proof that you've been tested and you've come out the other side. There were times when you didn't know how you were going to pay the bills, times when you felt alone, times when your own doubts were screaming louder than your belief. But even in those moments, you kept moving, maybe slowly, maybe crawling, but you didn't stop. That's not weakness. That's resilience. That's grit. That's the kind of character that can't be bought, only built. Quitting now would mean letting all that pain be for nothing. If you give up, you're telling yourself that everything you endured was just to end up right where you started. That's not true. Every obstacle you overcame was a stepping stone. Every setback was a lesson. Every time you got back up, you were writing proof that you're capable of far more than you think. You've already proven you can survive hard times. Now it's time to prove you can thrive. Surviving is about holding on. Thriving is about moving forward with power. You didn't just go through the fire to stand still. You went through it so you could walk into your future with a strength that can't be shaken. So when the temptation to quit creeps in, remind yourself of every mountain you've already climbed. Remind yourself of the nights you cried, but still woke up the next day and pushed on. You've come too far, fought too hard, and endured too much to lay down your dreams now. The worst is behind you. The reward is ahead.